Guys, for y'all that don't know me, my name is Jason Daerr. And in this season in life, I also affectionately will answer to Mr. Molly Daerr. Guys, today is May 8th, 2022. And when service is over, we'll go into this lobby, we'll go out to brunch, we'll go out to lunch, and there'll be conversations about summer vacations, graduation, prom, sending kids off to college, and somewhere in it we'll talk about how hot it was this weekend here. But you see, May 8th has a different conversation in the Daerr household. Because you see, May 8th, 2019, at about this time, I was lying in a hospital bed with the doctor to my left and my wife to my right, and was told that they found a tumor and I needed to be worried. Today is the 3-year anniversary for when I was diagnosed with cancer. And it's always interesting what you remember on those days in your life. You see, I remember leaving the hospital and getting in the car and being completely numb. But somewhere on that drive home, I looked over at my wife and I said, Molly, we are not going to keep this a secret. We are not going to fight alone. You tell everyone, because we're going to need them. Well, from that moment, a text was sent out to our life group. Hey, guys, Jason has cancer. We need your prayers. Shortly after that, Pastor Jason found out, and he showed up at our house. I remember sitting at our table talking. Then it was time to pray. Prayer was simple at that time, right? Had a CT scan the next day, and we're just praying that that cancer hadn't spread. Shortly after that, my kids came home. We did our evening routines, but the reality is that the gravity of the situation hadn't set in. You see, it didn't set in until that night. That night, when I was putting my son to bed, I got him all tucked in, got those sheets all tucked around him. He got his taggy. I'm like, I love you, little man. He's like, I love you too, Daddy. That's where my mind started to go. I started to think, Lord, did I just get a death sentence today? Will my baby boy know how much I love him? Was I a good daddy? And as I held my wife that night, I was like, does she know how perfect she is for me? Guys, it's 3 years from that day, and most of y'all know that I had scans a few weeks ago, and I am cancer-free. But when I stand up here and tell you guys that I am super, super excited to be here, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, I've had this wonderful opportunity these past couple of weeks to come into your all's homes as part of this capital campaign and tell the story how Molly and I became part of this church, how I was diagnosed with cancer, and how I walked through those doors right there, and this entire congregation was in this shirt that says Team Daerr on the front, and we don't kick field goals on the back. But what I also told you is that it was a 5-part series, so I'm here to go into part 2, what happened next. Well, see, shortly after that day, I had more scans. I had an MRI. I had meetings with surgeons and oncology. There was cancer review boards all talking about, do we do surgery, chemo, radiation? How is this all going to work? Well, finally, they presented us with options. And after lots of thoughts and prayers, Molly and I selected an option. We were doing surgery first. We're going to get that tumor out of my body. Surgery was scheduled for Tuesday. I rolled into service that Sunday excited. I had a plan. I walked in that door, people are saying, hey, Jason, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, I got a plan. Let's go. Surgery Tuesday. Rock and roll. Until I got asked one question. Hey, Jason, while you're in surgery, who's going to be with Molly? My heart dropped. You see, I absolutely adore my wife, and the fact that I had not thought about who was going to be there to comfort her, it broke my heart. Well, Tuesday came up pretty quickly, and the truth is I was pretty naive to surgery because I really hadn't had it before. I honestly believed that all surgeries were at 8 a.m., and you got up at 4, you pounded some black coffee, you rolled in at 7, surgery's at 8, and then you're waking up thinking, is it sweet potato fries or regular fries with lunch today? So the fact that my surgery was at 5 was foreign to me. So you see, I got up that day, I got the kids off to their activities, but then the anxiety kicked in, right? Hour after hour, wait after wait, anxiety got worse and worse and worse. Taking the fact that I couldn't eat anything either, the hangriness just exemplified it all. At about 2 o'clock, we packed up our things and we headed to MD Anderson. We got all checked in and we were waiting. About 15 minutes before I was supposed to go back, Molly got a text. Hey, a few people from the church are going to swing by. A few minutes passed, and then the nurse came out and said, Jason Daerr. And as I stood up, I heard a bing. It was the elevator. It stopped on our floor. And as the doors opened, I swear it was 30 people from Covenant, all decked out in maroon and white Team Daerr t-shirts to be there with us. We huddled in that waiting room, we prayed, and all the anxiety went away. Because I knew we weren't alone. Guys, y'all brought me joy. You brought me peace. And you actually brought me a little laughter too, because as soon as I started walking through those operating room doors, there's a big sign above it that says waiting room. Maximum number of 4 visitors per patient. Not my team. We come in packs of 30. Guys, that's how you do it. That's how you bring the joy. That's how you love your neighbor. I'll tell you one thing. There were no field goals kicked that day. Now, guys, we're all going through this journey of life, and there are going to be struggles and challenges and fights, and the reality is we don't have a lot of control over that. But there are 2 things that you can control. One is how you fight, and the other is who you fight with. Now, every day I wake up wondering about my why. Lord, why did you cure my body? But maybe, just maybe, there's someone in this room struggling right here, right now. And to them I say this: we have a great team here. Lean in. And don't you dare fight alone.
table that you prepared for me in the presence of my enemies. It's your body and your blood you shed for me. This is how I fight my battles. And I believe you overcome, and I will lift my song of praise for all you've done. This is how I fight my battles. 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 This is how in the valleys, I know that you're with me. Surely your goodness and your mercy follow me. So my weapons are praise and thanksgiving. This is how I fight my battles. And I believe you've overcome, and I will lift my song of praise for all you've done. This is how I fight my battles. 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 This is how I Oh Jesus, this is how I fight. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battle. This is how I fight my battles. 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 This is how This is how I fight my battles. 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 This is how This is how I fight. Lord, you're by